go ahead and open it with
Hi, Coach Blitter. How are you?
I'm good, Brandy. How are you?
Good, thanks. We'll have you open up with an opening statement, and then we'll go into questions after that.
All right, perfect. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate Kirk. Getting that 100th Big Ten win is absolutely amazing. I'm so happy for him. In my opinion, it couldn't happen to a better guy. So I'm thrilled for him and our football team. 3 Big Ten games in a row, 3 wins in a row is wonderful. So really happy for those guys. But yeah, I'm excited to turn the page and move on to basketball season. And we're certainly not starting with usually you kind of have a couple that you think you got to start the season. And this UNI team is obviously really good, and they gave us everything we can handle plus more at their place last year. And they took at us pretty good. And they returned all 5 starters. We obviously graduated 3 starters from last year. So on paper, I would say that UNI is definitely the lead team here. But I really enjoy the way that my team has been practicing. And they kind of know that. So they kind of have a chip on their shoulder right now, which I think is a good thing. But, I think we're going to be really good this year. It may take us time. I don't know how long, just because of how young we are. But we're just ready to compete. And quite honestly, we're just ready to be a light, just to give our fans something to cheer for, our women's basketball fans, something to get excited about. And I think that my team can do that.
Thanks, Coach. If you have a question for Coach Bluter, please raise your hand in the participant window, and I will call on you. And with that, our first question is from John Bowenkamp.
Hey, Lisa, how much do you think this team really wants to play a game at this point? I mean, can you kind of sense that they're ready now to just see somebody else?
Absolutely, John. They are so ready, and they're ready for the schedule, just like everybody else, to come out. But just to be able to play against somebody besides our practice guys and themselves, they are very excited to have Wednesday come around.
The next question is from Steve Batterson.
Lisa, what do you appreciate the most about what you've seen from your team so far?
I like our depth. I think that we are very deep this year. Last year we didn't have a true backup at the 5. And this year we do with Sharon Goodman. So that's exciting. I love how well we can shoot the ball. I mean, we have good 2-point and 3-point weapons. And I really like the balance that we have. I mean, we have so many weapons that we can go to. I don't know how you help off of anybody. So I like all those things. But most of all, I honestly really love coming to practice every day with this group. They're fun. They're focused, energetic. They've been really, really great for these 29 practices we've had leading up to number 30 tomorrow.
Next question is from Dargan Southard.
Yeah, I think it was Friday night the game officially got finalized, and maybe you knew it was going to be Wednesday, maybe a little beforehand. But given the kind of hastiness that you're dealing with in preparing for game 1, does it help that it's a team you play every year and you see quite a bit, and Tanya's been there for a while? Does that help at all, given the circumstances here to start off?
Yeah, and we always kind of thought we were going to be playing UNI early. And so it's not like it's a surprise. We were trying to schedule UNI. They were trying to schedule us. And so we just didn't really know a time because of the men's game. So now we have a time and an opponent and a location. So I think usually you have a couple of games that you're scouting before you played your in-state rivals. Usually we would be able to see UNI on film and not just on paper. Obviously, neither team has that. But like you say, I think we're both familiar with each other. Tanya's familiar with us. We're familiar with her style. They have all 5 starters back. So, I mean, there's probably not going to be a whole lot of change from last year, but you never know. They might throw in a couple of wrinkles or something. And, but I think that it's equal as far as like we both know each other pretty well.
Next question is from Jeff Linder. Oh, Jeff, you're on mute there.
I think I'm good now. Am I good? Okay. All right. So, you talk about not having any cupcakes early to kind of ease your way into, some games that you might use 12, 13 players. What do you see your rotation like? Do you want to play 10? How many kids do you think will see quality minutes Wednesday?
I for sure think 10 will. I mean, sometimes those things, like you say, your exhibition games, your early season games, you kind of get all those things worked out. Well, without those opportunities this year, it's going to be on the fly a little bit more. But so I would definitely see us going more, earlier. Like I say, I think we'll have 10 tomorrow or Wednesday for sure.
Next question is from Dargan.
You touched on it at media day about dealing with the lack of fans and the lack of attendance there. As the last couple of weeks have progressed, have you been able to prepare for that in any way? I mean, I know it's not exactly the same, but does practice feel like maybe that game environment now will be, or how have you handled that now that that's a concern that's in the immediate now?
Yeah, it's real easy to practice with no fans because, to prepare for no fans because that's the way practice is every day. So, we talk a lot about bringing our own energy. Like, you're not going to have Carver Hawkeye Arena to get you revved up. So you got to do it yourself. And so we've had 29 practices to get that figured out. Also, we have had a couple of scrimmages against our practice squad where we have emulated the crowd noise that we'll be playing in Carver, in all the venues that we go to. And so we've, kind of got used to that kind of, it almost becomes a white noise though, a little bit.
John?
Yeah, you've talked a couple of times about how many practices you've got in. When this all started, did you think you were going to get that many in, given all the protocols and everything? And what does it mean to have that many practices now to get ready for the season?
Yeah, I mean, 30 is the typical number that you always get before every season. So that's been kind of normal. It just got started a little bit later, but that's been, very normal. And we needed it because with a young team like ours, we really needed to have all of those 30 practices. I'm very thankful we got them in.
Jeff, did you have your hand raised?
Yeah, this time I unmuted myself. Coach, do you have a starting lineup in ink or in pencil or anything like that for Wednesday?
My pencil version would probably be your usual suspects of Monica at the 5, McKenna at the 4, Gabby coming in at the 2, and Caitlyn Clark at the 1, and Kate Martin at the 3. That's my penciled in version. With this, there's a lot of erasers being used at this time of year and in this situation.
Go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
Yeah. Carly Rucker, what does she bring to the table for UNI?
Yeah, she is a tremendous player. First of all, she's got great experience. And when you have experience at your point guard, again, like Kathleen Doyle last year, right? We had such great experience at our point guard. That can do so much for you. We don't have that this year. But, she has been there since day one, very confident. She's a quick player. She can, score at all 3 areas of the floor. We did a great job on her last year. Kathleen Doyle had that assignment and did a tremendous job on her, and everybody else really stepped up to the occasion, which you would expect for a great team. But she's somebody we definitely have circled on the scouting report. She is a terrific player.
Jeff?
They've got a really good class of in-state freshmen. Are there any of those in particular that, I'm sure you don't have any film on them yet, but any of them you think will make an impact right away for UNI?
I think a lot of them will. I mean, they are such a good freshman class. And so I think that several will. And I think for UNI, it's interesting. I think this in-state rivalry, it means a lot to all of us, but I think it really means a lot to them. I think they have 1 out-of-state player on their entire roster. And so they have all these Iowa girls that, some of them came to our camp. We know them. We, recruited some of them. We talked to some of them early on. And so, it means a lot. And we have to convince our out-of-state kids this early in the year that, that they're going to bring the intensity, even those young kids that are freshmen. But I expect those quality freshmen are going to have great careers, and I'm sure they're going to play, contribute right away.
Dargan?
Yeah, you mentioned point guard experience, and obviously, with all that Caitlyn Clark was about it in high school, this is her college debut. She's getting ready to make here. Knowing that she's obviously going to play a big role and have a big voice on this team, but also that she is, a freshman and new. How has that process been of, weaving her voice into the fabric of this team, and as she kind of, tries to take that a next step, being, an aggressive voice, as she figures out year one here.
Yeah, Dargan, like it's hard to come in as a freshman and be a point guard. Now we've done it many times before. I look back to Tanaya Davis. I mean, we've had many point guards come in, and they're unbelievable by the time their senior year rolls around because of that experience. But have they had lumps early? Yeah, I mean, certainly. It's a really difficult position to play, and then you're putting somebody with not experience in that position. So I think the team, though, really, I mean, they know how good Caitlyn is. They know how good she can be. And so the team respects her. I think she has the respect already. So, she's going to have to learn to use her voice a little bit better. But right now, Kate Martin and Monica are probably our biggest voices on the floor because she has so much else to think about that's not one of my priorities right now. But she'll get there. Definitely, there's no doubt that she's going to be one of the very best point guards coming out of the University of Iowa, and that says a lot.
Jeff?
Yeah, probably a little late to the party on this, but will there be any fans at all? Parents, anybody, or is it going to be attendance of 0?
Parents only, just, they'll get the 4 tickets for their family members, just like I think football was in the same scenario. So that's the only fans that we'll have in attendance.
You get to have, does that include you? Do you get to bring your family, or is that players only?
It does. I'm very happy about that. But yes, I'll be able to have my family there as well.
Any other questions for Coach? Great. Thanks so much for being here. We appreciate your coverage. Thanks, Coach Bluder. And good luck on Wednesday.